Hello YouTube. Finally getting back into making some videos here, and this is one I've long promised Mr. Kylie Harris, knives and stuff. I told him that I would try his, let me get it right this time, AEB-L CKC PenKnife. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut some cardboard with it, and we will try our ever-present little lottery ticket. And you know, these things never win. I don't know why I buy them. I guess I buy them just so I have something cool to cut up for the videos for you guys. And this knife is particularly sharp. And here's something you can try. I hope this will work now. Instead of holding the paper, turn this around, you can see it. Instead of holding the paper towel between your fingers, take the paper towel, hold it here, and see if you can cut it over here like that. That's sharp. Trust me, that's sharp. So, of course, we have the ever-present typing paper here. You can push cut whatever you want to do with this, obviously. So, since I don't have a lot of time, we're going to get right into cutting cardboard. And we'll just see how much of this we can cut in 15 minutes. You know, if it starts getting dull, I'll say so and we'll stop. I have no idea. I've never tried this. And we're just going to see what happens, and we'll go from there. And while I'm doing this, I thought that, you know, just watching somebody cut up cardboard is kind of boring. So what we're going to do while I'm cutting, I'm going to tell you some stories. Let me get some of this tape off here. You know, I've been around for a few years. I'm 61, be 62 in April. And like all people that live long enough, you know, a few things have happened to me. And I thought from time to time while we're doing these videos, I'd just tell you a story or two. And this story is why you never, and I mean never folks, shoot a skunk in the butt. One day when I was about, I guess, let's say 12, 13, maybe 14 years old, up home where I come from in Wisconsin, on our farm, skunks are just terrible. They're everywhere. And they get in our crops, they dig up the grass looking for grubs, and they're a real nuisance. There's tons of them. So I would take my Cocker Spaniel Sparky, and we would go out hunting skunks. He'd run them up, and I had an old 410 single shot, but I was pretty deadly with it. It had no finish to speak of. And I went across the field one day with him, and we got out in the middle of the field, and he got a skunk going. So he was very good with any kind of game. He'd run it right back to you, and that's exactly what he did. So he would run it around in an arc, he'd run it to you, and then of course when the skunk realized it was running towards me, it turned around and took off. And it was going straight away for me. I had a real good shot at it. And so I aimed for the back of its head, and just as I pulled the trigger, there was a rock about the size of my fist in the field. And the skunk jumped over the rock, which meant his head was down and his posterior was up. And that's where my load of number 4 hit him. And when it did, there was a large cloud that exploded from him, and it came straight back all over my dog and me. Now, I was glad it was the middle of summer because my mother wouldn't let me back in the house. She made me strip down out by the faucet and hose myself off. Of course, that didn't work, and she tried all the things she'd heard of, tomato juice, and you know, eventually we got enough of it off that the dog and I were allowed back in the house, but my clothes were pretty much gone. There wasn't much left of them. I want to get on something else that's got a bunch of gum on it. It's getting hard to hold. And so, you know, if you're going to shoot a skunk, make sure you get a nice headshot. I'm not noticing any slowdown here. It's still just whipping right through this stuff. And you know, just kind of be careful where you shoot them. And speaking of Sparky, that dog, he was extremely smart. He's one of the finest dogs I've ever had. He's a little black Cocker Spaniel. And he learned about everything except porcupines. He never did figure porcupines out. And on 5 different occasions, I pulled over 100 quills out of his mouth, nose, and inside his mouth. And he was game though. That little dog sat right there, and he knew I was trying to help him, and he would let me do it. And so I just yanked them all out. He was something. We would go riding, or I would go riding my bicycle for 10 miles over to my buddy's house. He'd just trot right alongside me. And I really hated it when I lost him. He was he lived a good long life. He was 16 when he passed away. So I've got a lot of stories like that, and I'll just try to share one with you every once in a while. I don't know how many cuts I'm making here, but as you can see, we're getting a pretty nice big pile going. It's still easy to cut with. I have no idea. We'll try this. I doubt this will work. Okay, I was wrong. It does work. Whoops, I caught it on the choil. Kylie's sending me a new penknife, and we did away with the choil area. And I think that's going to be a great improvement. You won't have that catch like I just got. Well, folks, so far there's no degradation. I wish I had more time, but I really like to do these all on camera right in front of you, because I don't want anyone to think there's any trickery or anything like that. And I've also changed the way I do the edges on these just slightly. I've been playing with the convex, and one thing I've started doing is I take and I still take them down on the sandpaper, and emery paper. I take them down to about 2500 grit, but I no longer use compound of any kind. I go ahead and just strop on leather that has no compound or anything on it. Just plain leather. In fact, I use the back of my belt, sometimes the palm of my hand, because I can feel the burr actually come off and see the little chips come off. I don't recommend that for beginners. If you're just new to sharpening, it's probably not a good idea. And I think I get a better edge, at least for me. I've also tried where people take and run it through wood like this. I don't have, I just don't think that does anything, and I know other people do. More power to them. I'm not going to say that it doesn't work for them. I'm just going to say that it doesn't do a lot for me, personally. I found that just stropping on the leather does it just fine. And let's see, how are we? Oh, we've got time yet. My assistant turned the clock thinking I wasn't looking at it, so I couldn't see it. Now I can see it again. Alright, let's try paper cut. Yeah, I've got another surely this will not cut out here now. I don't, well, yes it is. As long as I do my part. And you can see that's smooth as it can be. You're not going to see the hair on my arm because I shave it so much there's almost nothing there. You'll just have to kind of take my word for it. And folks, it's flying off there. Alright, let's grab some more. This is a steel that's been around since the turn of the century. I think 1907, 1909, something like that. And I gotta say, with a good convex edge, slightly toothy, but boy, it's sharper. You can see if you can cut paper like that, and it's still there's no degradation, and I can tell it's still cutting just as easy as it did at the start. In fact, the hardest thing is just to hold the cardboard wants to slip out of my hands. And let's see, we're getting kind of close on time here. Alright, let's give it a final test. Lottery ticket. Typing paper. Now either I've got a spot or I'm catching it on the choil. I'm catching it on the choil. Yep, that's still slick as it can be. How's that for live TV? I'm going to leave that in. My cats just grabbed the side of the table and everything went. So let's try this one more time. And if you can see that, still on the outside, still cutting. A little rough there. That's a little better. I think I actually caught it on the choil. Just for grins, let me strop this real quick, just on the palm of my hand. Yeah, I think that you just got a shot of the guilty party there and the mess they made. Alright, let's see here. And I think I've told you guys before, I really like paper towel to test an edge when you can get a good clean edge like that, because this stuff is so loosely woven, it just does a lot better. So that's our test of this AEB-L CKC penknife, and these are great. I carry this a lot. I love it. It's well made. I highly recommend it. That's all, and hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.